Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Cheryl. If you're new, welcome to the C Squad. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me again. Today we're back with another life update. I do these once every year, it feels like, but today I have so much to catch you guys up on. Before we get into it, please subscribe to my channel for more lifestyle videos and vlogs. We are on the road to 20K and I would really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So let's take it back to the last life update video I filmed in 2023. I told you guys that I was starting my master's degree in digital marketing and analytics at the University of Kent after taking a few years off of uni after completing my computer science degree. What I didn't mention is that my master's degree actually has a placement year attached to it. For those of you who don't know, in the UK, an industrial placement or year in industry is a 12-month work experience which is assessed as part of your degree. Essentially, you can think of it as a one-year internship where you gain work experience in your relevant field. You typically write a report after you complete it, and that is what you are assessed on. And then when you graduate, it will be part of your degree. Typically in the UK, placement years are done between your second and third year of your undergraduate degree. Placement years for postgraduate degrees are not as common, but some universities and some courses do offer them. So you'd have to do your own research, check the university's website, check their different course overviews to see if they offer it, because it is less common. So luckily at Kent, they do offer an optional placement year for their digital marketing and analytics postgraduate degree, so I chose to take that option. I haven't mentioned this in my videos over the last few months just because it's not guaranteed that you will get a placement. The application process is quite competitive, and as a postgraduate student, I didn't qualify for a lot of the placement programs because they were only looking for second-year undergraduate students. If I hadn't managed to secure my placement, I would have just ended up graduating with the rest of my class this year who don't have that optional placement year. And so it just didn't really seem relevant to mention if I didn't know whether I was going to do it or not. Luckily, I did manage to secure my placement, which means I won't actually be graduating this year with the rest of my class. I will instead be graduating in 2025 after I complete it. As I'm filming this video, it is the middle of June and my first day is on the 1st of July. So by the time you guys see this, I would have been working for about a month or so. So let me know if you guys would like to see an update video, just kind of letting you know how I'm finding it so far. Also, feel free to drop some comments down below with some questions that you may have about doing a placement year in the UK, and I'll be sure to film a Q&A answering all of your questions. Of course, I'll be taking you guys along for the journey. This is my first big girl job, so get ready for it. We're gonna have the first week of work vlog, which is actually gonna be the next video after this. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when that video goes up next week. I'm also thinking about doing a what's in my work bag and morning routine with a 9 to 5. So let me know what other kinds of videos you guys would like to see from me about working life, and I'll be sure to make them. So that is my update. I hope you guys join me along for this next chapter. I'm really excited, but I'm also really nervous, but we're gonna do it together, so that makes me feel so much better. But in this video, I also wanted to talk to you guys about my journey securing my placement because I went into it super naively. I didn't do a placement year during my undergraduate degree, so I had no idea what the application process was like. I had actually just assumed that universities partner with certain companies and that they pair placement students with those companies, but that is not how it works at all. It's basically like applying for any other job. You go on job listing websites like Target Jobs, Rate My Placement, Bright Network, and some universities like Kent also have their own career hub where they post job listings. You make your applications just like any other job, including your CV and your cover letter. You might do a psychometric test. You might only do one interview, but I think it's pretty common to do at least 2. And sometimes you do assessment centers as well. So it is a lot. It is not a fast process, and as I said before, it is pretty competitive because you're competing for these jobs with placement students all over the country at like 100+ universities that the UK has. And for the most part, you're pretty much doing the process on your own. Your university might have a careers team that can help you with your CV, maybe read through your cover letter, prep you for assessment centers. The Kent careers team is literally the best. I went to them for my CVs, cover letters, prep for assessment assessment centers, interview prep. I even went one time just to talk to them about how stressed I was about applying for placements, and they just offered me more like encouragement and support. So that's really great. So definitely check out if your university has a really good careers team if you're planning on doing a placement year. So immediately when I started my master's in September, Kent was already preparing us for our employability in the UK and our placements. I think they did this because we were postgrads and our degree is only 1 year, so they really wanted to prepare us from the beginning. Literally from the first week of school, they started running these postgraduate employability edge sessions. I'm just gonna call it PGEE for short. And they were just sessions to help support us with our employability in the UK, taking us through popular job listing sites, preparing us with interview skills, those kinds of things. So I started applying for placements towards the end of October. I basically spent every Saturday from October looking at job listings on the websites I mentioned earlier and doing my applications. I think in comparison to other people, I've heard some people say crazy numbers. I didn't really do that many applications. I kind of chose to focus on the quality of my applications as opposed to the quantity. I don't really think one is better than the other. I just think it's a personal preference. I spent at least an hour on each of my applications, which is wild, I know. I was tailoring my CV to make sure that it included keywords from the job description, writing personalized cover letters, including why I wanted to work at that specific company and do that specific role, outlining my skills, knowledge, and previous work experience that I have that would be relevant to that specific role. I think it's difficult because in marketing, a lot of the roles can really require different things. Some are more heavy on market research and data analysis. Others can be more about creating content on social media. I've also seen some where you really needed photoshopping skills, editing skills. So I couldn't really send out very generic applications because almost every job description was quite different from the other. I really wanted to make sure my application stood out, so I thought it was worth it to spend that extra time really tailoring it and personalizing it for each company. But I won't lie, it definitely stings a little bit more when you get rejected from a company after you've spent like an hour or two writing an application for them. Let's talk about the rejections. Once again, I was super naive. I thought I would at least get to the interview stage for most of my applications. That was not the case. I think I only got my first interview after 3 months of applying and many rejections. All in all, I did 27 applications over the course of 4 to 5 months. So that's not really a ton. I've heard people do way more than that, like double or triple that, but it is still quite a few. Out of those 27 applications, I only made it to the next stage for 4 of them, and 2 of those next stage offers actually came in after I had already accepted my placement with another company, and the rest were just rejections, and sometimes I never even heard back from some of them. Needless to say, it was definitely a brutal process. So back in January, after applying for a couple of different roles, I finally got my first interview with company A. This is when I started vlogging my experience, so I will sprinkle some videos from that time period just to give you guys a better idea of how I was feeling at that time. The funny thing about company A is I'd actually applied for a different role a few months ago, which they rejected me for. Then when I saw they listed a different role, I ended up applying for that one as well. So it just goes to show you that if you get rejected by a company, it's always worth it to send in an application for another role that they might advertise in the future, just because you might end up being more suited for it and you might actually be more successful with that application. So far, I have done almost 20 applications for my placement year. It has been so brutal. Getting rejections left, right, and center. I've never been rejected so much in my entire life. I'm only doing my first interview now. It is now the end of January. It is the 29th of January. So 3 months later, we've got our first interview. I'm kind of nervous, but I also just kind of feel like what's meant to be will be. So if you couldn't tell that I am super extra by the fact that I was spending 1 to 2 hours on each of my applications, I spent 6 hours over that weekend preparing for my first interview. Honestly, it sounds crazy, but at the same time, I didn't know if this was gonna be my first and last ever interview, so I thought I may as well just give it my best shot and just put my all into it. I literally have pages and pages and pages of potential questions that they could ask me. My university ran a PGEE session about advanced interview skills. They gave us a list of questions that potential employers could ask, so that is what I was using to do my interview prep. There's also a website called Glassdoor where people post their interview experiences with different companies, and sometimes they also include specific questions they were asked by those companies. One of the questions I was asked in that interview actually was on Glassdoor, and it was a super niche question that I don't think any other company would ask, so it really is a useful website. After my interview, interview, I was so gassed. You guys, I am not typically good at interviews. I feel like the fact that I talk on camera a lot, it gives the impression that I'm super extroverted and like confident and that I could do interviews, but it is not my strong suit. So I was really happy that the interview went well and I wasn't going blank and stuttering a lot through my questions. So I felt good about it. Oh my god, I am smiling after an interview. I have never left an interview smiling. That went pretty well. If I move on to the next round, it's gonna be a Zoom meeting with the hiring manager. Fingers crossed, but I won't lie, like the positive feedback that this woman just gave me, I'll actually like be distraught if I don't make it to the next stage, because I'll be like, what the heck? Like she positively affirmed me the entire time. While I was waiting for company A to get back to me, I ended up having 2 other interviews. I got my interview with company B by pure luck. My parents hosted a dinner one night. I wasn't even at this dinner, but one of their friends brought their friend who just happens to work in marketing. They saw my graduation photo, which is like displayed in our living room, and asked my parents what I was up to. They told them I was doing my master's degree and that I was looking for placements. And coincidentally, they had just spoken to their boss about needing a marketing intern. So they asked for my information and asked me to send in my CV and cover letter and to schedule a meeting with me the following week. Hey guys, it is the 14th of February. We're still on this job hunt. I'm about to hop into a meeting in like 10 minutes. A little bit nervous about this one because I only found out about it yesterday. So I haven't really had a lot of time between yesterday and now. So we'll see what happens. My meeting with them went pretty well. Unfortunately, they wanted their intern to start immediately. And because my placement is part of my degree, I can only start it after I have completed stage 1, which is in July. So I wasn't able to do my placement with them, but it was still a good interview experience. And it's also a good example of not knowing where your next job opportunity may come from. So always make sure that you're networking, and evidently also make sure your parents are networking on your behalf. The following week, I had an interview with company C. 2 minutes until my 3rd interview. I am wearing the same outfit that I was wearing last week. Work smarter, not harder. Someone just give me a job. Please, I'm begging. Anyway, I've prepped for it as much as I can. I've got about 19 pages of notes that I realized that I'm never gonna be able to memorize. So I'm just gonna have to cross my fingers and hope for the best. Once again, I had spent the whole weekend prepping for it, and I was really happy that it went well. Interview done. Thank God for prepping, you guys. Prep for these interviews, because all the questions that they asked me are questions I'd prepped for over the weekend. That went as good as it can go. I feel like I did my best. If I don't hear back from them or it's like a rejection, I feel like I can comfortably be like, at least I tried my best. A few days later, I received an email from company C. It is the 23rd of February, and I just got an email about the interview that I had in the last update. I almost opened the email without you guys, but I remembered I'm a vlogger. Oh my god. Following your interview for the placement, we are delighted to invite you to attend our upcoming marketing internship assessment center. Oh god, this is long. We have a presentation that we have to do and also another interview with somebody else from the hiring team. Oh, I made it to the 2nd stage of something, so that's great. I was so excited about getting to the next stage with company C, and then after 5 agonizing weeks waiting for company A, remember them, to get back to me, I finally got an email from them. You guys, I am literally in the middle of another vlog. I'm doing my reset vlog today, and I just got an email from the first company I think that I started the vlog with, and I told you guys I thought the interview went great. An email just popped in my inbox from them, so we're gonna open it together. The first line that I could see from like my headline is not instilling confidence in me, but let's just read it. Dear Cheryl, aww, that's so sad. Dear Cheryl, thank you for expressing an interest in the placement student role. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we have other applicants that are a closer fit to our requirements. I could tell from the first line, whenever they start with thank you, if it's good news, it usually starts with we are delighted. Thank you. That's not a good start. That's a nice way to start my Monday. After that rejection, I was so drained. I have no idea how I got through the rest of my recent vlog without bursting into tears. I was just so exhausted and tired of making applications at that point. I remember prepping for my assessment center that weekend, and it was just a struggle. Like, I could barely go over my interview questions. I was struggling to do my presentation. I really had to dig deep and push through. I also had a meeting with careers on the Friday, and they gave me some advice and guidance about assessment centers. So I just tried to have a positive outlook and do the best that I could. I didn't vlog the assessment center. If you've ever done an assessment center, then you know it's like almost impossible to do because you have so much going on that day. But I did manage to film a recap once I got home. It is the 11th of March and I just got home from my first ever assessment center. For a first assessment center, I think it went well. We learned a little bit more about the company and the different people that work there. We did some individual and group tasks. Then we did a 5-minute presentation and we had our final interview. I feel like I'm happy with my performance for my individual and group tasks and my presentation, but I've been like overanalyzing my interview the whole way home. I don't really know at this point, but they did give us a little goodie bag with a bunch of products that they sell. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how it goes. As you can tell, I was really losing steam at this point. I had spent months doing CVs, cover letters, prepping for interviews, and prepping for assessment centers. Mind you, I was still a full-time student with assignments to do and a YouTuber with videos to film and edit. I spent Monday night, the whole of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday stressing about my interview. Like, it was just constantly running through my head. It was torture. It was Thursday night when I saw that I had an email from Company C. The funny thing is, I don't check my emails after 5 p.m. and the email had come through at 5:11, and for some reason I was just on my phone and I had seen my email notification and I clicked on it and then I saw the name of the company and I was like, why did I do this to myself? Now I can't go to sleep, because how do you sleep after that? There was just no way. So that was very unfortunate for me. I also caught the flu between Monday and Thursday, so do not mind my appearance in the video. I was really going through the most. I feel sick. You guys, it is literally past 11. I was in bed, but I hopped out of bed because I saw a notification in my emails. They told us that we should expect to hear back sometime next week. It's only Thursday. And I have an email in my inbox from the hiring manager. I didn't even read anything. I think all I saw was, "Hi, Cheryl." I don't even know why or how I saw the notification in my mail. Like, I should have just gone to sleep, because if it's bad news, I'm not gonna sleep. It's like, I can't go to sleep without opening it now. My anxiety is like through the roof. Oh my god. But anyway, let's get it over and done with. Oh my god. I have a strict no crying on the internet rule. I just think it's so cringe. So that is the most that you'll be seeing, but I literally burst into tears. It might seem really dramatic when you're looking back on it, like, I guess it's not that big of a deal, but for me, it was something that had been stressing me out for months. So getting to the point where I was so close to giving up and seeing that I actually achieved my goal, it was just like a monumental moment for me. So I think with all the anxiety and stress that had just been building up, it just kind of needed to come out in that moment. But of course, I was really excited, really happy, but mostly just relieved. I cannot believe it. Thank the Lord. I'm in disbelief. Please let me know if you'd like to accept. Of course I'd like to. Let me call my mom. Hello. Guess who is the intern at
You got a job?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I cried! I'm vlogging right now. I literally burst into tears when I read it. I was like, not me crying on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you. I did not even have it in me to do any more applications. I was so tired. Hi, Dad. You're looking at marketing intern. Thank you, I'm employed. This is my testimony of life. Hard work and dedication will pay off. Don't give up. It has been exhausting. I have been rejected by every company you can think of. It's been amazing. So hard work and dedication, prayer works too, in conjunction with hard work and dedication. I really wanted to show you guys the process of me getting my placement, just because I feel like I show up on my channel with the final product a lot of the time. It's like you see the 7 distinctions, but you don't see how many hours I spent studying, how many past papers I did, how many extra assignments I turned into my teachers to grade that weren't even actually for marks, but just for me to practice my skills. You see me transfer universities, but you don't see the almost 40 emails I sent these universities and how many of them came back to me and said I couldn't transfer for X, Y, and Z reasons. I'm actually so glad I randomly decided to start vlogging the experience, because I think it really shows the journey. Getting a placement wasn't a linear process for me, and I was very close to quitting because it was just so challenging and draining. But this is your sign to not quit, to keep persevering and to keep going, because you never know how close you are to actually achieving your goal. And also remember to trust the process. I was so devastated by my rejection from company A, but looking back on it, ending up with company C is literally the best thing that could have happened. The role I'm about to do is way more aligned to my interests and my skill set. Also with company A, I was gonna be in a random remote city in the UK, and with company C, I get to work in London. So truly, sometimes things happen for a reason and you might actually be better off. What's that saying? What's that saying? I'm always so bad with sayings in my videos. Man's rejection is God's protection, and I 100% stand by that. I've decided I'm actually not gonna share the name of the company that I'm working for just for safety reasons, not because I think I'm important enough to stalk, but you really just never know who's watching and what the intentions of those people are. So I think just for safety reasons, it's probably best for me to keep that private. So I hope you guys understand that, but it's a really great company and I'm excited, albeit nervous. Comment down below and let me know if you have any questions about placements, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see from me about working life. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to join the C Squad, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!